Good afternoon to all those who are watching us tonight. Will be episode 2 of talking about RPG with veterans. Today, I will be joined by the Derek, who joined us the first time. We'll be talking a little bit more about his time in the service and other gaming he does. We're going to venture into Daghir and Belgar. If you don't know what that is, I recommend Googling it because there might be a park next to you that does it, and it's actually fun to do. With that being said, I'm going to bring him in, so everybody be nice, and here we go. Good afternoon. How are
Is it? Is it afternoon? Oh God, it's afternoon.
I should also say happy 4th of July weekend.
Happy Independence Day and 4th to you as well.
I'm still waiting to see the aliens and Will Smith, and my weekend will be complete.
I mean, that'd be nice. You at least got a cigar, I think.
Got the cigar.
That lady sings.
So, last time the first episode of this, we had you, me, and Max.
Yes.
Max is busy doing Max things. He's a very important person in Legion of Myth. I recommend everybody checking that out. Oh, by the way, I know you, Derek, don't know them, but I wish to say happy birthday to Jack of Shadow and Sun. He is turning 14, I believe, this weekend, and he should have a good 14-year-old birthday because that's when life starts to really get interesting for at least boys. We get hair in weird places, things start to drop, things get awkward. Ooh, I didn't think squeaky. That girl's looking at me weird. Why is there a
What's
bump
that growing on my face?
Yeah. So I just want to say happy birthday to you there, Jack. I'll probably do it again tomorrow, just to embarrass the hell out of you in front of your dad.
Right.
But I want to do that. So
happy birthday to you from me, from us over here as well.
So that being said, all right. Last time we talked to you, we went over your military career. I wish just to recap a little bit of it. Correct me if I'm wrong, or you could take over. You were in the Army.
Yes.
Was this after 9/11? Did you join up with all the other the big rush after 9/11?
So I graduated high school in 2003. By 2004, I was in basic training. So I was one of those individuals that did get not necessarily swept up by the idea, but I joined around that time.
Right.
Got a lot of really good benefits into my contract because of that. They offered a full kicker package, you know, all the college, all the health insurance, and whatnot. So there's a lot of good things that came from that environment for soldiers and service members as far as their contracts and benefits go. So it seemed like a good time. I just moved out from, Colorado, being surrounded by mountains, and moved to a place in northern Illinois that had less than 700 people that lived there, from a town that had 25,000 people in Colorado. And I was tired of seeing corn. I was like, where's West? I don't know where West is. There's no mountains here. So I guess I'm going to go join the Army. Bye.
You look right. There's corn. You look left. There's more corn. Wait, that's soybean. Shit. I need to get out of here now.
Why does it always smell?
So you joined up, like I said. Then after you did your time service, you played. You got together with other servicemen and did some RPG while you were in the service. And
absolutely.
Okay, then once you got out of there, out and back into civilian life, was it the first thing you went out and looked for, or was it just something you fell back into?
As far as gaming?
Yeah, as far as gaming.
I would say gaming never left me. I never left it, or I should say that.
All right.
Always doing something. It doesn't even have to be video game related. If it's playing Monopoly or checkers or chess or something like that, it's always utilizing games as such to kind of diffuse.
Gotcha.
I've been doing that basically my entire life.
Man, I don't know about you, but Monopoly started more fights in my family than it solved. What do you mean I owe you that X money? Well, that's what the card says. Are you sure that's what the card says? Well, you land on my property. You're now renting. You owe me X money.
Yep.
Yeah. The game, though. The game that starts fist fights.
Take that, Grandma. Throat chop.
So last week we kind of hinted it around about it, but Dagahir and Belgarth, I said this at the beginning of the show. I don't know if you did Amp Guard. I was always told I hit too hard, wussies.
No, never did it, but I did fight against them, yes. And town fighters.
Yeah.
We are show of force.
Actually, you want to see show of force, go to an SCA field. Holy
right.
crap.
All that live steel stuff is just, it's brutal. And I've talked to a lot of those guys that they were like, oh, I've been doing it for 15 years. And then all of a sudden their eye just.
Yeah.
And you're like, what's wrong with you? They're like, oh, I've taken quite a many headshots from, two-handed weapons and glaives and swords and maces and stuff. And I'm like, I'm glad you're having fun, bro.
You do you there, Cupcake.
Right.
There's a joke. I don't know if you ever heard this joke, but SCA treat Dagahir or Belgarth as their retirement plan because they're just getting tired of getting hit in the head. Where Dagahir / Belgarth looks at SCA as their retirement plan because we can't take any more knee shots. Just not the knees. Just not the knees.
We need full steel greaves on, yeah.
There's not a huge difference between SCA and DAG, but there's enough where it's like, okay.
Substantial.
So what got you into the swinging of foam?
It happened around the time I actually was leaving the military. I believe I was like 25 years old. Is when I first went to what they call a practice. Showed up. I was in khaki shorts, some nice shoes, a polo shirt, just dressing like somebody from the 90s. And I'm just watching these guys out there run around and beat the crap out of each other with, PVC fiberglass rod insert foam weapons. And I'm like, The inner kid in me is going, that looks really fun. That looks like something I probably should enjoy. And I'm on the sidelines the entire time. But a good couple hours go by. They're normally out there for 4 or 5 hours, depending on the day and weather and whatnot, or attendance even. I get handed a weapon. They said, "Go have fun." So to say that I didn't know what I was doing as far as the sport goes at that time, yeah, it's an understatement. Because at that time, the only actual combat training that I could rely on for that circumstance was given to me from Uncle Sam. And Uncle Sam doesn't necessarily teach you to be nice. He teaches you to be efficient, thorough, direct, and accurate. There's a whole bunch of, you're leaving your head open. I have no idea why you're leaving your head open. Time to smash, right? Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Did a lot of low-angled shots aimed for the neck and above. And in Dagahir at Belgarth, those are illegal zones because they try to make it as safe as possible because there are, everybody of walks of life, everybody of different age groups, all the way down to like 14 years old, I think is about as they get on the field or something. 16 when they go to national events, but on your actual home turf, it's like 14 years old when they can start coming out there and swinging some foam with the big kids. And by big kids, I mean grown-ass men in their 30s who are tired of rolling dice and want a D&D for real.
I cast Fireball. It doesn't exactly work the same over here. I'm sorry.
It doesn't do anything.
Yeah, no.
We don't have magic. This is all muscle, bro. Do you even nerd, bro?
Yeah. So
it's definitely some alpha nerd stuff, and it's pretty funny.
What side of the line did you actually? I hate to say it, but still, it's very much true. Which side of the line did you get started on? Did you do Belgarth or Dagahir? Which one did you start with?
Dagahir is what I started with.
Okay.
Started in a town, Danville, Illinois. Or I should say that's where I started. From one of the third oldest realm units called Middle Earth. It's been around since the 70s. and there's a lot of history, a lot of people that have been in the sport for a really long time. A bunch of units basically getting together. Unit being the kind of like the catch-all phrase for a group of people who fight under the same banner or flag or unit or whatever. So it's just that kind of concept. Started fighting there. We had members of Black Company. We had members of before that it became something known as the Order, but everything was evolved around Middle Earth because it's that area of the Midwest, and since J.R.R. Tolkien's stuff was getting really popular in the 70s again, when they started naming all these territories, started learning places like you got Middle Earth, and then Middle Earth has a territory over here called Numenor, and then Numenor became Belegarth, the actual sport, So
Yeah.
Just this constant nerd phrases all over the place. We're from the Burning Steppes. Like, hey, cool. Yeah, there's a World of Warcraft reference. Nice.
I think up in Chicago they have a Winterfell from Game of Thrones. Charleston, Illinois had a Khazad-dûm. Then we had a thing down there that was
Amansul.
Yeah, Amansul.
Yeah, we had the territory of Amansul, which was the Great Watchtower. That's the one where Frodo got stabbed on, by the way, for anybody trying to keep tabs about these names. That's where Frodo got stabbed by the Ringwraith.
And we actually had, when me and Derek here ran the rum down there, we had our own little ring wraith. It was one individual, but technically two, almost three. But we'll be nice, and I won't blast them on YouTube.
We're not trying to blast anybody.
At least not yet. Maybe if I drink some. This was later in the evening, because well, I'm past 30 seconds of the show, so fuck that guy.
I was wondering when I could start saying bad words. I was like, I don't know all the rules of YouTube.
Somebody told me on YouTube, if you get past 30 seconds without dropping the F-bomb, you're okay. I'm like, okay, well, I'll wait 30 seconds, say, let's go fuck this pig. Sure, why not? So, as I said, not to blast that guy, but fuck that guy.
There's you run into assholes in all walks of life, and as far as what it is, just to describe to everybody who might not know what we're talking about, you are being trained how to utilize footwork in Dagorhir, in Belegarth. You are being trained how to swing your arm in such a way that if you had a weapon and using it as an extension, that you could do some real damage. And as a fact, this is an actual fact, that once you join and sign those waivers and say, yeah, I'm here of my own volition, and if I get hurt, it's my fault because I knew what was going on and blah, blah, blah. Once you sign those waivers and the Dagorhir as a corporate environment or LLC or whatever they are now, you get an FBI dossier on you.
I've always heard that. I don't know if that's ever been actually proven or not.
It's actually true, because a conglomeration of individuals getting together and learning how to fight qualifies you as a militia. So the FBI keeps tabs on you. Now, not saying that it's like they're going through your phone records and they're trying to find out if you're going to be the next, showing my age, Tim McVeigh, the national terrorists and stuff like that. They're not looking for that. They're just making sure, dang cats, leave the stuff of my wall alone. Anyways,
Your cats work
it's not
for the FBI. You said the trigger word.
I mean, that's just what cats do. It's not so much that they're delving back into your history and trying to find out if you're actually a bad person in the United States or something like that. No, it's more like if a riot breaks out and a bunch of nerds come to us with fiberglass rods and plywood shields, they could really do some damage. And I'm saying this to riot police, because it's shield on shield and sword on sword at that point, and a bunch of nerds know.
We lost him.
Oh, you mean we get to hit him in the head now? Oh yeah, okay. So that's their vocals.
No, your internet went. Your internet froze there for a second, but that's all right.
Oh, okay, all right. Well, good thing we're live, and we can't edit that.
Nope. So, who does that recording stuff? It's all live with me, because if it's not live, why
we're going to show?
Yeah, because I'm a professional. So it's funny with that year slash Bell, and I might later on in the show I might see if I could find some clips on YouTube that me and you will reference. Me and you both been in the sport.
Oh yeah,
over a decade plus by at this juncture in our lives.
Right.
I mean,
right.
I got into it right out of college myself. I mean, I got picked up while I was in college by the same group that you kind of got started with, Black Company down in Champaign.
Right.
So I cut my teeth in Numenor. I mean, Numenor, the motto was hit hard, take light. What it really means is hit hard, don't let them hit you.
Yeah. Yeah. You can't take a light if you don't get hit.
Right. Not saying they're bad people, but that was part of a decade ago. I'm sure they have new people over there teaching the fine arts of swinging foam. Speaking of swinging foam? What weapons? When I say weapons, you have to understand all these weapons are foam tipped or have foam wrapped around them. They're not actual live steel. They're not live arrows or. I mean, there are weapons in the sport that are considered to be dangerous if they're mishandled.
Yes.
But if you throw a baseball going, I don't know, 90 miles per hour and you tink the guy in the head, that's dangerous too. Yeah. So there's, that's why we sign waivers.
So the weapons of choice that I utilized, in order to get certain rank ups, like if you wanted a little bit more notoriety or whatnot, you have to learn multiple weapon structures. You have things like bow and arrows, javelins, two-handed swords, glaives, two-handed spears, single-handed swords. Like they're just anything that you can think of from a factual historical environment. It's probably have a foam weapon out there made exactly like that. Heck, I even knew a guy that created a bottle that when he smashed it, like if he hit you with it, it would break off. At first, it would count as a blue hit, which is like, being clubbed or slashed or hacked by an axe or something like so. As soon as he hits you with the bottle, it breaks. And then the jagged bottle that he has left, all completely made out of foam, is now considered a green, which is a stabbing weapon. And I mean, his name was Drunken Bob.
Bob, I was wondering if that's what you're talking about.
Right. Yeah, Drunken Bob. His armor was a barrel that he would wear. Oh my gosh, that guy was so funny.
I loved his flail. It was his flail was.
I enjoyed everything he ever did.
With a foam fish on it. And he just
with a fish on the end.
Yeah, that guy. Now, you could pull your Dungeons and Dragons or Pathfinder or any medieval gaming book up and scroll to the weapons items, and you'll find 80, almost 90% of the weapons you have on your page you'll see in a sport to one degree or the other. It's weird. The timeline goes up to the 16th century, so no gunpowder. But we allow people to wear kilts, which, if you know your history, it doesn't exactly work out well. But it's all fantasy based. That's the other cool thing about Daghir and Belgarth. Ragnarok was just last week. It's a week-long event. I've gone to several times. I believe you've gone to at least
Pennsylvania
a couple times.
At least twice.
I know me and you drove down there once together.
I can remember. A lot of parties there. Yeah. That was I think that was the last time I went to.
We gotta fix that. We gotta make it. We got to do it.
Big event.
But it's one of the
seriously
few
like there's the
I was going to say it's one of the huge events where you have the classic Roman army on the field against the Celts, against the Romans, not Romans, against the Greeks. And up on the other side of the field that no one thought would show up is
Saracens.
The Saracens. Then you get your fantasy aspect of and the Guard, which is part of
there's orcs over there.
Narnia base Narnia base unit will march in, and it's kind of fun. I mean, it's different, but it's fun. A lot of shenanigans.
It's nerds of all swinging foam. Yes, and I know we want people to understand that it's not just from the outside looking in. You can just see a bunch of nerds sitting out in the field dressed up in old garb and beating the crap out of each other and laughing about it the whole time. But there's a semblance that has extreme bridge options inside the mindset of service members. And I can remember the first time I went to Ragnarok, they had a set up field fight, and there at that point I think there was 2,200 fighters, and that's just fighters. I think it was a total of 3,500 people in this camping area in Pennsylvania, and they split all the fighters down the middle. So you have 1,100 people on the left side, and then 1,100 people over here on the right side, and then the heralds, also known as the referees for those of us who are mundane, will call lay on, which means game start. And when 2,200 people charge at each other from approximately, I think it was like 100 feet away from each other, you feel the ground shake. They're yelling, they're screaming, sometimes cursing, definitely spitting because they're yelling so hard, spittle's flying. And then there's just a big clash of nerds right in the middle, and then start swinging, and then two-handed weapons come down. People are getting stabbed by spears. The next thing you know, you just see volleys of arrows just fly across from both sides, javelins flying over people's heads and going into the backfill, and it's exhilarating.
Oh yeah,
as a sport, and it's fun,
to say
the least.
I think one of my favorite stories is the bridge battle that me and you were on opposite sides.
Yeah.
But I imagine while you're in the service, they teach you war games, but the war games teaching is different than the war game that we're playing, because you're using not live ammo, but you're using guns. Where in this one, the closest you get to anything range is arrows, which arrows are no joke by any stretch of the imagination. Oh yeah. But you have rocks, you have arrows, you have javelins. Depends on the person. You might even have a Bible. I'm not joking. I wish I was, but
he's not.
You never know what's coming over your head. Now, with that being said, does the Army war games or the Army training, military training, does that help with field awareness? Now, field awareness is an interesting term because you don't hear it often.
Yeah.
But field awareness is a thing that was in the sport where you have to know where everything is coming from. Is that something they teach while you're in the military?
Oh, absolutely. Battlefield awareness is a huge tactical option. It's drilled into our heads, and it's basically to try to keep us from having tunnel vision in combat. So that we're if we have an enemy in front of us and your whole unit's out there stretched across cover and you're all being attacked, and you don't just focus on the guy in front of you. A lot of times when you're just shooting to make the bad guy go away, not necessarily die, but stop shooting at you. So, cover fire, this and that. You have to know where your battle buddies are. You have to know where your sergeant is. You got to know where your lieutenant is. And sometimes you will have to just focus fire. But that's why I was a saw gunner, because I could do that all day long. So yeah, battlefield awareness is very, very, very key in the sport. Why? Because if you're just focusing on the shield wall coming at you, you're going to forget about that flank force of skirmishers coming over on your right flank, and they're going to crash through your backfill and destroy your front line before your two lines even meet. Like there's so many options that you have to be aware of. Always understand that there's an arrow out there with your name. Always understand that a javelin can be picked up by anybody and thrown. And never, ever, ever forget rocks are your best friend.
There's a guy down in Nashville area. His name is Wick. You may or may not know him. He goes to Rag every so often, but he is the master of the rock weapon. Rocks, you have to understand, are basically small pillows. I mean, they're a little bit stiff.
Balls.
Ball. Yeah, but they're all It's
Normally
fun.
made out of couch cushions. If everybody's concerned of, like, you find an old couch, you split it open, you pull the couch cushion out, and then
And
you chop it down into pieces, covered in a sock, and then you throw it at somebody like a rock.
right. And they only count if they hit you in the noggin. They're one of the three weapons that count for headshots. Now,
Yep.
headshots, as uh, Derek pointed out earlier, are basically a no-go. Do not hit person in the head for good
Yeah.
reason. Those big reds, single blues, and so forth can do a lot of damage.
I think I made somebody bite their tongue by accident.
Concussions, broken noses, broken orbital bones. I mean, bad business.
Oh,
So,
lots of nasty stuff.
right. But rocks, arrows, javelins are the only three, and the flying Bible is the only four weapons I know that can be lodged at somebody's head.
I'm pretty sure we ruled that the throwing Bible was a rock.
Yeah, I think we did too.
We ruled it, and that's the only reason they were able to start chucking it around. It's like, take this, I'm going to throw the book at you. Which book? The good book. Whack. Hilarious. Funny jokes.
So it's a very fun sport. It's aspects of it need to be taken serious, and other aspects are just good fun.
Yeah.
What you started in Danville with Middle Earth. Now,
yes.
What units? Okay, DAG here. Units are a group of people who decide to band together, a unit for words. That's what they're called. There's over 1,000 different units out there, anywhere from 3 people to 100 people. I mean, you have big units like Rome. You get your small units. Like, I can't think of anybody off the top of my head, but just depends on.
No offense, but for those of us who've played the sport, you're gonna remember the big shiny people out there, and not the people that showed up with 3 people and this is the first rag they've ever been to, and blah blah. Like, they might be very cool individuals. They might be fun to hang out with. They might be decent fighters, but you're not going to remember them if their name is like McGillicuddy Unicorn Slayers or something like. What are you? What is that? Like, that's like pure off the wall fantasy. There are stipulations to naming your unit too. It's basically saying stay in history or stay in nerddom, and that's it. No off the wall, fly from left field crap. Just history or fantasy.
Let's see. Yeah, I mean, you won't get any of the. Well, we have a variation of Star Wars unit out there in California. That one bothers me a little, but not enough to actually ever really bitch about it. But you can't be the Empire of the Klingons or the Ferengi. It has to be fantasy. That's the hard line. It has to be fantasy. Now, if you could find a historical group of people that are called the Unicorn People of the Man of Islands, we'll let you have it. You have to prove it.
Yeah, there's some proof there. You bring me a book or a history book, like a fantasy novel or a history book. And as long as you bring one of those two and say, hey, look, there's the name right there. It's spelled out right there. You can read it for yourself. See, I'm showing it to you. As long as you can do that, then it's one of those like, oh, okay, I guess, sure, whatever. Like, there's no like back and forth. There's no like major fight for that kind of stuff, unless there's already a unit with that name.
Especially if they've been around for a while. It's like it'd be hard for a person who's like, well, I want to be Rome. Well, there's already is a Rome. You want to be Black Company. Sorry, that's already been taken. There is a Black Company. Now you could be a Gold Company out of Game of Thrones.
Right.
You could be the White Company. I wouldn't recommend that name, but
that's probably not cool, especially nowadays.
Yeah.
No.
So
don't hurt the nerds just because they say something that sounds stupid, but just sometimes they say some stupid stuff.
Now, when it comes to union structure, is there a lot of crossover between military unit crossover and Daghir crossover as structure, you think?
Normally it depends on the unit. There's a lot of situations that go into constructing your hierarchy. A lot of them use basic kingdom structure. You have a king, a queen, a man-at-arms, a sergeant-at-arms, like a couple knights, some squires, and then a bunch of pawns out on the field. Or whatever they're called, squires, or pages, or serfs, or or rookie or newbie or whatever you want to call them. But yeah, there's generally a hierarchy structure because you have to, in order to operate in this sport continuously and successfully, I might add, like winning the actual games and the fights and stuff like that. You got to be organized, like highly organized. The more militant you are as a group, the better your potential outcome can be in a lot of these games. Like there are capture the flag games. Those are fun, but kind of fast paced when you're using weapons, because then you just got to kill everybody on the other team and then go grab their flag from the base and take it back to yours. So you can dominate in that structure, but as long as you have unit cohesion, a hierarchy, command chain, so to speak, and then just the right training. So, you know, we do that all the time. We do that. Well, when people see Belagarthians or Dagahirians out there in, like, say, your public parks and stuff like that, spread all across the states of the United States, by the way, and in other countries. If you didn't know, Japan's got a group, Germany's got a group, France has got a group, UK's got a group, Australia's got a group. Like this stuff is worldwide. It's not just based here in the United States. People saw it. They're like, this is so cool. We're going to do the exact same thing. They have a downloadable Bible or rule book.
With the Book of War.
Learn it. It's called the Book of War, the Big Book of War. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, absolutely. There's a hierarchy structure.
Okay.
Your unit falls apart without it because most people have a treasurer. This sport costs money. The average cost for startup for most people is $150. Now that doesn't sound like a lot, but it is, especially when most of that equipment that you're purchasing needs to be assembled 100% from scratch.
Now, I think it's interesting.
So
I don't know if the military does this, but we have what we call building parties, where we get a group of old timers, vets, as we call them in the sport, vets, old timers or old guard. Maybe not the old timers, but I've definitely heard like Napoleon had the old guard behind him wherever you went. Then you have your vets. Now, I think to be a vet in Daghir, you have to be in the sport longer than like 5 years or 10 years, some variation of that.
5 years.
I think it should be a little bit higher up. I don't know. How long is the average military contract?
When I went in, it was 4. 4 years was the standard go in, get out contract. Now they've got it dropped all the way down, I think, like 18 months. Like it's pretty low. Like you can go in, get your AIT training, spend like maybe 8 months in an active duty unit or National Guard unit, and then. But you do the little ones, you do the short string enlistment contracts or anything like that. You don't get all the benefits. You don't. You get all. I should say you get all the benefits, but to partial degree as opposed to the full degree if you did like a full contract.
I gotcha.
Some people even use those small contracts just to pay off their student debt.
I'm not saying that's not a bad idea. I think if I joined the service back when I was in my 20s, it would have been, a life career choice. But that's But that's
definitely what I wanted to.
But with that being said, that the union structure, so between the two, the military, I'm talking real military versus Daghir, what we do, there are a lot of crossovers where vets who are getting out of the service or vets who are still in the service could say, hey, I want to go do this because it kind of reminds me of the lifestyle I was living or the lifestyle I am still in.
Absolutely.
All right. If my word is wrong, let me know.
No, I was about to agree with you. It's like I've actually met quite a few veterans that do that. I know that when I was getting out of the military, especially since I was not necessarily choosing to do so, forcibly medically discharged, you lose that sense of camaraderie, that unified condition that we're all fighting for the same thing. We're all gonna go home at the end of this, or we're gonna die trying, or whatever it is. And you lose it. Some people have it together a little bit better. Some veterans have it together better. They already have a plan of action, and unfortunately, a lot of us didn't. And when those negativities happen, especially like forced ejection from the military through medical or dishonorable means, you lose a part of yourself immediately. As soon as you hang that uniform up in your closet, and you know you'll never put it on again, it hurts. Especially if you put your life to it, especially if you put your soul to it, your heart, soul, your mind, your body, everything goes through the ringer in the military. So when I got out and I saw Dagger here, I looked at it like, look at these nerds. And I'm a nerd. Like there's levels of nerds out there for people who didn't know that, as far as what we understand in today's nerd culture. Like there's little nerds and they're just like, oh, Pokemon cards.
See,
And then there's big nerds who are like, I LARP. I dress up like this, and then we fight. We get kicked out of places by police all the time.
Hey, that's only happened once.
I was once. So we don't need to talk about
Black Company.
But I was just referencing the story. You don't have to tell the story.
Oh, why is there always a karaoke bar
down.
involved? Or strip club.
Gentlemen's
But we
club.
call it the Strippers Guild over at Table Breakers. We call strip joints the Strip Guild. Anyways, that's a topic for a different group of people. I'm trying to.
I would say so.
Yeah,
I would say so. Sorry, YouTube audience. Sorry about that. For anybody who's watching.
Seen my face enough on YouTube, I'm part of Gatekeepers and Table Breakers, and I hang out with Max over at Legion of Myth, which we will talk about. The Stripper Guild does get brought up a lot as just fun, being giggles. But that being said, now I don't want to blast any units out there. That's not what I wanted to do. This is not what I'm going to do. Some units are great to be with. Some units, the individuals are great to be with. It's just how it works. So you can have a unit full of assholes, but there's a couple people in that unit that are absolutely great people.
Right.
Or I don't want to say it's the frat house mentality, but sometimes
it basically is.
It
almost basically is. I would say I would lean more away from frat house and more towards like collective sports groups.
Yeah.
Because you have your captain, there's their own pecking order inside like a football team. You're offensive line, I'm defensive line. I make sure they don't go nowhere. Or whatever it is. I didn't really play a lot of sports. I could just assume that that's how they talk because movies and such.
Movies.
But no, the situation for the negative aspects, the people that are out there to make the game less fun, because it is a game, 100%, tried and true. Instead of rolling dice and moving figurines on a board, you're the player, you're the character. You move your damn self around the field. If you want to make your character swing 5 times in 6 seconds, then you better be capable of swinging 5 times in 6 seconds. So, there's no levels. It's all a hit-based system. You've got your torso hits, and those involve the areas right here on the neck. So think of like those white undershirts that are just like the guys' strap ups and stuff like that, and then like a pair of whitey tighties, and just envision somebody standing there. I don't care who you envision, yourself, another person, the opposite sex, I don't care. So everywhere where that clothing touches is what's called a kill zone. So anything on the torso, the groin, your ass, your back, and then those spots between the shoulder and the neck, those are all kill shots. Okay, you get smacked in the arm. My arm's useless. It's behind my back now. See, it's behind my back. You get hit in the leg. You got to go down on a knee. So there are people that make that easy point smack system very, very much less so fun. Either they're really horrible people as individuals, or they're just out there to have as much blaring fun as they possibly can have at the expense of others.
Right.
And both the individuals are actually shunned in the sport. Like we don't like these kind of people. We're here to have fun. We're a collective group. We all have the same mentality. It's about the fun. It's about the foam, and it's about the drink afterwards, because there's parties, always parties. As many times as you see in movies, and after a big fight, they all start drinking. Yeah, that happens.
That happens.
Like every time. We're gonna have a big old party, a big old, bonfire. We're gonna pass the horns around and drink some mead and ales and stuff like that. It's good. It's a good old fun time for adults.
Now, let's go. I mean, the parties are parties, and they can be anywhere from a great time to what did I drink last night?
Exactly.
Fucking never clear. Besides the point. Anyways. Well, even about the partying life is like after you guys get done with the mission goes well. Everybody gets home safe. Everybody is accounted for. Do units, in your experience, that your unit have a after party, or is it? I mean, yes, it's serious work. I get that. I never will say it's not serious work, but you have a good not good mission. You have a mission that goes well. All the boxes are checked. Everybody comes home. Yeah. Is there? I mean, the party scene, is it similar? Is it not similar?
Oh, it's straight the same.
So, does it involve strip?
We do platoon functions.
Karaoke
that
bars.
depends on who you hang out with. But yes, that has sometimes popped up in situations. I'm sure everybody out there that knows a vet has known a vet that's been inside one of those establishments. Yes. But no, yeah, in the Army, we have platoon functions, we have company functions, we have battalion functions, we have brigade functions, and basically all that is a lot of fancy words, titles being thrown around, and then eventually everybody gets sloshed. Not necessarily everybody, because somebody still has to remain in charge, but the general gist is that everybody's going to toss back at least a couple and have some fun before, Sergeant Major decides he's going to drink out of a boot from the grog bowl for the ninth time.
I've seen people do that in Nagy here, where they'll grab their boat or whatever and guzzle out of it. Like, nope. I know what's been in there for I don't know for how long, but I saw
2 pints of sweat.
Yeah.
Oh, what? Why is this whiskey salty?
Yeah. Oh, that's horrifying.
So it's the wrong type of cocktail. I'm not ready for it.
Yeah. We talked about units. We talked about weapons. I mean, there is no rule.
No, we stopped on weapons.
Did we talk? Yeah, we didn't talk. Okay.
There was a specific question that we never answered because we've just been ping-ponging around, but that's okay because that's what we do all the time when we hang out.
Right. The
weapons I used.
The weapons I used. Yeah.
I was a two-handed swordsman.
All right.
I was also a sword and board, which means I had a shield and a blue weapon in one hand. I was an avid javelin thrower, so I also carried a javelin with me. And a lot of times I wouldn't even have my sword out. I'd be running around with my sword tucked into my shield arm, holding my javelin in the other hand. And I would run out there and stab, 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 shield, stab, stab, shield. And then if it got to the point where I needed to draw my sword, you got to throw a distraction out there. And what's a better thrown distraction than javelin? Yeah. And then you throw it and somebody ducks, and the next thing you know, they look up and you're on them with your sword raised high, getting ready to smash your shield into their shield and dislodge them so you can start hacking and slashing at their back and their shoulders that you're trying to get exposed. Oh, see, now I'm getting excited. I need to calm down.
Oh, then you have such moves.
When I say it's exhilarating.
Oh yeah. Then you have such moves as the Lazy J, which for those who know, and you just.
So for those who don't, I shall describe exactly what he's talking about. So there's a shot, and that's all they call it. Is we use a lot of wrist, elbow, and shoulder movements in conjunction, like they would actually do back in ye olde times to learn how to throw that slash weapon or that hack weapon or that smash weapon out there. There's a shot called the J hook. It's normally performed by a right-handed individual, and it basically, you flip it down, you basically swoop a J shape with your right arm and flick your wrist at the end, and the shot will bounce up underneath people's shields and take their leg. Now, however, that move also exists for left-handed people, by the way, lefty. By the way, lefty. And it's called the Lazy J. Why? Because all I got to do is flip my wrist. I don't have to get my arm in the J hook wrap at all. I just roll my wrist over and flick up. The only bad thing is if you're mirrored on another fighter being a right-handed fighter versus a left-handed fighter, where their shield is protects their leg more, but leaves their groin open every time. So if somebody falls for that trap, you do a little bit of bait and switch. You show them this way, then they move that way. Then you lazy J with your left hand. You'll get a lot of situations in your life. And now it's not frowned upon, so to speak, about groin shots. They are highly discouraged if intentional. But if it happens, it happens. You either take the leg shot or you go die.
Yeah.
And most people choose death. They're like, give me a second. Look at this, lay down. And then you're fine in like 5 minutes after you jump up and down a couple of times. Take a couple deep breaths and just get your butt back out on the field. In my first fighting experience at an event, I was bagged like, I want to say like 10 times at least.
It happens.
Just clonk. And all from variety of weapons, even by an arrow. Somebody thought they'd be cheeky and like, what? And that's, yes, an arrow. So think of an arrow shaft, and at the end, it's like half of a Nerf football, and it's flying at you at 25 miles an hour. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm doing, doing math.
Yeah, it's going about that fast.
Yeah.
And it's really funny because the intense sport does play through. You're constantly trying to get a one up in this circumstance, so to speak. Nobody wants to die in real life, but there are res options. You can start a game with having 3 lives, so that means there's 3 people of you, or blah blah blah. There's a big video game aspect or tabletop game aspect behind it. However, like I stated before, you are the piece that has to move around the board, and the piece is only as good as you are actually. So the better you are at fighting, the better you are at mobility, the better your piece moves on the battlefield. And cardio. Yes, it's cardio. And any vets out here listening to me talk, I'm Combat Arms, and I'm telling you, that's the best PT I've ever had in my life. You're constantly running. You're constantly throwing your arms out there. You're throwing your body weight around. You're doing the stuff that you were trained to do in a safe and controlled manner. And you get to beat up some nerds. What's more to life than that? I know it sounds pretty mad or mean that I go around beating up nerds. No, when you're in tag here, that's all you do. Everybody's a nerd, and that's all you do is beat up nerds. That's all we're doing is beating up nerds.
Old timer, he's a Dag here guy. It's called Blackhawk. Yeah, Blackhawk.
Yeah, Blackhawk.
And
I thought we were going to drop names.
No, it's fine. His favorite thing to say is, "I'm gonna go beat up a bunch of nerds." I'm like, "What the hell do you mean by that?" Look around. Like,
look around. Yeah. Yeah, you can just see him doing that little grandiose look around. Like, yeah, he's totally like that. It's hilarious. The old school guys are really cool. What's that adage? Age and wisdom beats youth and idealism. So just because you think you can run for days, you probably can. That's cool. I'm going to stand right here and let you run your happy ass to a tired spot. And then when you decide you want to come be the chump who decides to be ballsy and come after the guy who's standing still, who's been waiting for you the whole time, and then you come in on their all anime flurry style, something you saw on a kung fu movie, the next thing you know, bwop bwop, fight over. Literally that fast. Like as fast as I said bwop bwop, that's the end of the fight. And that kid, because normally they're like between 16 and 22 years old, those individuals, if they're not like really, really fast and really good with their shots, they just cannon fodder.
Yeah.
Just cannon fodder the whole time. And there's nothing wrong with that. Sometimes you're cannon fodder, sometimes you're the cannon. I prefer being the cannon. Just, because fire for effect.
Well, it's funny. I'm an archer in the sport. That's my bag. Mm-hmm. I'm an archer. Yep. And in most combat situations, they teach you in video games. I don't know about the military, but the video games will teach you, or even in Dungeons and Dragons and whatnot, most people watch it, they think they have to shoot the person in front of them. Which originally, no. I mean, yes, you should keep an eye on the person in front of you, but if you slide to your left or slide to a different direction, you're going to catch somebody unaware.
Yes.
And
absolutely.
That can make a difference between a standstill fight and actually pushing forwards. Right. Now, do they teach tactics like that in the service?
Absolutely. And I can name a couple of things specifically that most combat arms guys in the infantry will recognize. You have call signs for specific targets. You have shout outs. You have little hand and arm signals to say, like in the middle of combat, you can't just be yelling and screaming, giving away your position. So they have little like hand signs to tell you that there's somebody out there that we need to focus on, because he's out there either being a wrecking crew, or it's a hard target, or it's an HVT or something like that. But they have like little whistles, pops, clicks, and claps for snipers. Just because he hasn't shot anybody yet doesn't mean nobody saw him. So they have that situation. So when I would train people to do this fighting techniques, I would use a lot of my military structures. But because this is a game and less realistic in combat, we would just do things like, if you see an archer, shout out archer. Why? Because anybody not paying attention will instantly start paying attention. Because we are not trying. We are not trying to. Yeah, there was a little bit of gip right there.
Yeah.
We are not trying to just get punked out of the game by somebody who's too chicken to walk up into the fray. Because that's the stigma of archers. Sorry, Connell. Sorry, Connell.
To my own credit, he's seen me. This guy right here has seen me go toe to toe with sword and board. I can flip both sides of it. It's just my knees
prefer archery. Yeah,
my knees
prefer archery now.
Yeah. Like I said, I've been in the sport for 17 years, and dag is not, or belt is not easy on the knees.
Nope.
It's I'm not saying the military. I'm not saying the military is good on any juncture of the body either, but no, now it's just like, I could, as you just said, I could run, I can chase your ass across the field, or I can just stand here. This is my little 5x5 square that we do in D&D or Pathfinder or your gaming. Move 5 feet. This is my little square. If somebody runs past my threatened square, I do get attack of opportunity, and I'll take.
You have an arrow's notch, arrow away. Take those pop shots. The funniest ones are the ones where you're just seeing like this. I need to bring up a term so that people understand. Rhino hider.
Oh,
so they fight with great spirit and hide of rhino. That means they won't take your shots. That means they're cheaters. That means they think they're so badass in real life that foam weapons can't hurt them, which is true because they're trying to be as safe as possible. But these are the guys who ruined the sport. There are plenty of kids out there that have left the sport. And I was saying kids like between the ages, like I said, 16 to 22, that just leave the sport because of one of these assholes. They have a lot of good promise, a lot of good character. When we're talking about personal character, not actual character like field character.
Yeah.
Just good people all around, and they just walk away because somebody spoiled the fun for them. So it's always fun to see a rhino hider get their comeuppance. And there's a couple ways that the sport's done it. They don't really like talking about it, so I won't be too descriptive about it. But you can make your weapon fail for hitting too hard. You can. If it can leave a bruise, then it hits too hard. Then there's something wrong with your foam. Why did you put duct tape on the outside? Stuff like that. Most people tend to save those failed weapons for that rhino hider out there.
Right.
And it's always really funny to, have somebody come up to you and be like, this guy's just been trucking on me all day. He's picking on me. I don't know if he likes me or something like that. And there's men and women of both of this situation, by the way. And this story specifically that I'm mentioning was from one of our female fighters that came up to me as I was heralding. or refereeing. So she told me about it. I walked back to my bag because I have one of these said things, and it automatically fails. It's way too heavy. It's way too hard. And if done improperly, I'd chip some bones easily with it. Yep. And people are like, oh, it's with foam and stuff. Like, you have no idea how physical the sport is. If I tell you I can crack your knuckle with a foam sword, I can do it. I can totally do it. I've done it 6 times to other people by accident. Anyways, I go and get the weapon. I say, here, hand me yours. This is a herald's weapon. You're allowed to have this because I said so, and I'm a herald. Here you go. Go pick on him for a minute. And she did. Every time he res, she would just fly out from behind a bush or behind a person or a tree or something like that and just start smoking the dude around his legs. So just aim for his legs. Just aim for his legs. Because, you know, there's less vital organs in your legs. And he left the field 5 minutes later because she wouldn't leave him alone. And he couldn't understand how her shots were so damn hard. Just to watch like a big 280-pound man being beaten down by a woman who's like 5'4", maybe 120 pounds, and then just getting constant cross chops across his legs to the point where he's like, I don't want to do this anymore, man. I'm done. And then he just wanders off. Yeah, you got your comeuppance there, buddy. So that's what happens when you're a dick. You're gonna get smacked.
Through the years, I've filled sausaged or potatoed a few people that would fit that description, just because there's nothing worse than not being able to move. Your arms are done and your legs are done, but you're not dead. Yep. And all you can do is wait for somebody to stab you. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, you're pleading for death on the battlefield, people. Like, so piercing attacks, they don't actually kill you unless they hit you in the torso, or with the addition of bows and javelins hitting you right in the head. That'll kill you, because those ones are head legal. Rocks, arrows, and javelins are all head legal.
Except for,
like you said before.
If they're wearing a helmet,
it's the only thing that deflects.
Yeah.
It's the only thing that protects from an arrow, javelin, or rock, is if you actually have a helmet.
Right. Sorry.
And you can't break helmets. You can break all other armor, but helmets. Helmets are for your head. That's illegal.
I didn't want to think about how you'd break an armor. Red one. Nope. I'm just done.
Oh yeah. Someone gets coming in with their equipment destruction weapon known as a red weapon, and just Fat Man rolling you. And if nobody knows what Fat Man roll is, it's a horrible term, yes, I'll say, in today's society, but at the same time, it's a completely 100% realistic, almost down to historic, where they have a two-handed weapon and they just turn their trunk torso and then they let it go like a slingshot. And it's very effective, especially if you weren't ready for it. Oh, just to watch people's eyes go as the shot comes singing in at Mach 3, and then it smacks their shield and they kind of stumble over themselves a little bit. You're like, yeah. Anybody can Fat Man roll, but that's just what it's called.
No, more than a couple, but there was a rag where me and this other guy, we both grabbed res, and we knew we were going to die, but it was a res battle. And we just ran up the line, running down the line, go red. I hit it once with red. He hit it once with red, and the shield would just break. And then our side would just come in. Yeah. And, I mean, was it a good move? Yes. Did we die a lot? Yeah. But it was a res game, so who cares at this juncture?
So you just got to win the objective.
Right. Okay. Now, let's talk about units really quick. Let's bounce back over the units.
Sure.
Now, you've been in a few different units as of to date.
Yes.
You even were on a way to getting I guess in military terms would be a rank promotion.
Yeah, I was about to get taken from being a squire to a knight. Yes.
What would that be? That'd be like a private to private first class? No, that'd be a private to... a page to squire, squire to a knight. So private to corporal, corporal to sergeant?
That's a good way to look at it. It's a little bit more officership than that. So it's like saying you have your first lieutenant who goes to a second lieutenant, then into a captain, and that's the knight.
Okay. I'm sorry. Yeah. I'm just.
No, you're fine. You're fine. I said you were close, but yeah, that general structure is just a step up process. But for the knighthood, it's basically being an officer in the unit. Oh no, you forgot an alarm.
Yeah, well, I'm a dad. There's always some kind of alarm on my phone.
True here. Same here. But yeah, there's the knight structure that is utilized, and I want to say a good superior chunk, at least 3/4 or somewhere near that, of all the units out there use something to king, knight, squire, prince, princess type situation as far as their hierarchy goes.
With that, it doesn't even. Well, some units do the knight thing. I know a couple of units that do the knight thing, or there's just a sub Banner Brothers. It has nothing to do with what unit is. It's just a group as like Sword Brothers and Kinsmen.
Yeah.
Now, there's Kinsmen from other units that all are put together, are all come together to make one small group or big group, as the case may be.
Yeah.
But each one of these guys are from. Sometimes there are multiple people from one unit. Sometimes there's only one person from a unit. So. With Middle Earth, I know it was the Order. I believe you said the Order.
Yes, we were the Order of Middle Earth.
Yeah, it was attached to Middle Earth.
Yes.
So you said Black Company. You said the Order has, and I know as soon as we can get that ball rolling, you will be joining as Nafiana as a petitioner to mine. There's actually a Gaelic word for it. I think it starts off as an Arikok, but every time I say that, I just feel weird. I'm like, I don't say it too well.
Because you said Arikok.
Yeah.
It's like you're standing out in traffic waving your wiener around or something. Like just get a little air in it. It's a little sweaty down there. Just trying to air it out.
Playing the helicopter dance while I'm in traffic. I'm gonna go to hell.
You're not getting monetized anytime soon, buddy. I swear.
That's probably really true. I mean, for those who end up watching this video, please like and prescribe, because more prescribes I get, the will help me build up this channel, and the more videos I'll do and whatnot. Put likes on, show YouTube that I am actually worth watching, or So, with that being going back to topic, units. We talked about structure a little bit, how the crossover.
Yeah.
Sometimes in Dagear, I don't know if you could do it so much in the military, but sometimes you get attached just to the wrong unit. You think they're cool in the beginning, and most of them are cool, but when they get together, there's one or two people in there that you really like to hang out with, and the rest, when they're together, they become super. Use whatever adjective you want to use.
Use whatever thing that you think is the worst possible person in the world, and that's exactly what we mean. Like a worst person.
When you're in a service in the military unit and you get past basic camp and you are assigned to your MOS. Now, does your MOS will have multiple different squads in it or units in it? Can you go to a CO? Yeah, CO is actually right. I think the CO is the right term. Can you bounce say, hey, me and this group?
Officer, yes.
Yeah, commanding officer. Can you just go up to them and say, hey, me and this group is not gelling as well as we could be. Could I get transferred to a different unit, or are you just kind of stuck and try to make things work?
You're stuck, Chuck. They don't give a shit about that. I mean, they do and they don't, but majority they don't. Like if you get stuck in a unit, it's your job as a unit to figure out how to be a unit. You know, there's no actual manual in the military that tells you how to get along with people. You just have experiences here and experiences there, but there's no actual unit. Something's trying to get into my gate.
All right. Well, you know
I'm sorry, this is one of the dogs, but yeah, no. If you've got a bad guy in your squad, Now, I'm pretty sure people have seen enough movies or have heard enough stories from people. Yes, I'm just going to say yes. Sometimes that stuff happens. Why? Because the amount of pain and suffrage you cause the one individual will never be the weight of the same as the entire unit who has to carry your ass everywhere they go. So instead of holding your own weight, you're making your team carry you. And in the military, that's no bueno. That is not good at all. Either you stand up, lace your boots tight, put your rucksack back on and keep on trucking, or you'll get booted out like the rest of the failures. And that's that mentality that they drive. And I know it sounds harsh, especially to a lot of people who've never really talked to a veteran before, but it turns you into something like you're supposed to be. You know, the drill sergeants, your unit, they're not there to suit your feelings. They'll understand that you have them, but then they're going to say, suck it up and drive on. Because of the simple fact you are there to live and or die because you said you would. So you better act like it. As soon as you stop acting like it, I mean, that's one of the easiest ways to get, get lazed up in the crosshairs and just be like, wow, that guy's a shitbag. Let's just keep Article 15ing him until he just gets booted out of the military because he just
That got brought up last
not
time
to
we
say
did this, Article 15.
Article 15.
What is that, or can you say?
Okay, so you go to a work, you have a job.
Right.
You do something bad, say you showed up 3 days late in a row, and then somebody walks up to you with a piece of paper and it says, hey, if you get another one of these, you're fired.
Gotcha.
However, that's a loose translation. That's about as loose as I can get for a civilian because it's a lot more tactful in those environments. And Article 15 doesn't necessarily mean the end of your career. They're not just going to kick you out of the military if you get too many of them. However, if it's for the same thing over and over and over, yeah, you can get fired from the military. Yeah, you can. For anybody who says that you can't, no, they can rip your contract up and say later.
Dishonorable discharge.
Yes, it would be a dishonorable discharge, or you could still get a general discharge even while collecting a bunch of Article 15s. And you know, that's if your command structure liked you to the point where like, oh, we don't want to ruin his life with a dishonorable discharge, so just give him a general one.
Gotcha.
Because your life is ruined. For those people out there who don't know, yeah, you get a dishonorable discharge for military service.
Gotcha.
Your life is ruined. Ruined more than anything else.
For those who watch this video, yes, I do my homework before I talk to somebody about career choice. I did not decide to take. I want to be on point.
Yeah.
I don't want to be the Jerry Springer show, at least not yet.
Come on, that'd be fun.
Is he even still on?
No.
I
honestly don't know. I think he's got like a podcast or something, and that's about it.
You know, I live too close to Chicago to make these jokes. He might have Steve come down. Steve even has.
Steve's gonna come get you. He's gonna sit in a chair in front of you and stare at you till you shake.
Right. Anyway, so that's the thing. Interesting. So you're having. So the legendary soap parties, is I believe they've been called, not so much legendary,
or sock parties or whatever.
Yeah. All right. I always wondered if that was.
They're nice. They're nicer nowadays. Good gosh! So you want to talk about the stuff that they used to do, like back in the time when drill sergeants could physically lay hands on you and hit you and push you around and all that kind of stuff. They can't do that anymore. They can't. They didn't do that when I went in 2004. Unless you threw a punch at them, like you had to give them a reason to lay hands on you. Right. But back in the day, those blanket parties or sock parties or soap parties, as we all heard multiple terms for them, were dangerous. Back then it was take your sock, drop in a lock, tie it on a knot at the end so it doesn't rip through your sock, and then you beat the guy with a lock tied in a sock.
Wow.
And then it went to soap. Then it went to soap and a bar of soap. And that's a pretty dense target inside. Like you don't understand, anybody who doesn't have kids doesn't understand how something random can be turned into a weapon. But you know, once you get in the military, everything is a weapon. My kid's swinging my shoe around the other day and he about took my bits off.
Now, when I was living at the rugby house, we had somebody that wasn't. I know rugby is not DAG here. I know rugby is not the
Still
military.
rough.
But it's still a rough sport, and we need everybody
Yeah.
to hold the line in their position. And there was a few times where we had orange juice parties, which is not that far different from a soap party. Only you put oranges or grapefruit, mainly oranges though, into a sock, and you keep hitting the person until you make juice.
Yeah.
Do I recommend these things? No, but shit like this does happen. I don't know. I don't hear so much of it in Daggy here as much as I have heard from like the military in my career, and not career because I never got paid, but is in then playing rugby. But I'm sure even in Daggy here, in people's units, they have ways to correct somebody's path.
Yeah, there are specific types of, for lack of a better phrase, hazing rituals. I don't know, people are like, oh, hazing, but I mean that's what it is. If you're gonna get somebody who's gonna be just screwing up all the time, not getting with the system, causing problems for other people's, failure to do this, failure to do that, there are only a few ways that you could discipline that environment. One, kick them out of your unit, strip them of their titles and kick them out of your unit. Most people don't want to do that because that's so harsh, and we're supposed to be an inclusive sport and it's nice and friendly, and fuck that. You're being trained for war. Even if it is fantasy war, you need to act like a damn soldier for your unit. You're a protector. You're a soldier. You're a warrior of the damn thing. So you better start acting like it, because there's a lot of realism in this sport. And if you don't pay attention like a real soldier does, you can actually die.
Wow.
I've fractured 2 ribs. I've dislocated 4 fingers. And this is a dagger. This is a dagger. This is yeah. Oh yeah. Fractured 2 ribs.
Yeah, I have a laundry list too, but yeah, I understand what you're saying.
You're gonna get hurt if you don't listen to the people who are telling you what to do, because they know what to do to keep you safe.
Right.
And that's the whole concept in the military too. Like you're getting us in trouble because you can't keep your own dick in your pants, or whatever it is, like whatever phrases you want to turn around. It's like you just can't keep on. Right. We want you to keep on, and you can't keep on, and you're causing problems for everybody but yourself. And if people are like, oh, what does that mean? That of course they can't just be making problems for everybody's but themselves. No, sometimes a guy will screw up so bad that your drill instructors, your drill sergeants will pull that asshole aside, make him sit down, hand him a soda, and then smoke the shit out of your platoon while he sits there and watches the whole time. And I'm sorry, situations like that generally respond with a blanket party.
Now, from personal experience, I won't speak upon yours, but with personal experience, especially when I was a petitioner for the Unit Black Company, their favorite form of punishment for petitioners, because that's what they were called petitioners, was push-ups. And
yeah, push-ups make you strong because you dumb.
Right. And there's a few times there's more than a few times where we were at events, or we're at a building party or whatever, and we were just doing push-ups until basically we puked, just because somebody screwed up.
Yeah.
Boy, did I have some arms there for a while.
I've got a fun story about that, but go ahead with your point. I know you have.
But yeah, no, it's interesting how much crossover that the military has with the sport. I mean, yeah, a lot of it's supposed to be fun, but there is a line. There is, especially if you want to be known as a fighting force.
Yeah,
there's things called accountability. Yeah. And other
discipline
that are
strength, honor, integrity, like all that stuff. Yes, that's the heart of the character of a soldier, of a warrior, and everything like that.
Right.
Absolutely. And if you do not comply, you most likely will die. If you don't get behind it, if you don't get it in you, if you don't live it, learn it, love it, then unfortunately, you'll be one of those people who comes over on the plane in a wooden box with a flag draped over it.
Or with the dagger here, you just won't be in it for very long because you'll
Oh,
get.
but this is, I mean, like, I've seen units sausage their own people, and by the way, that means piercing their arms and legs. Their arms and legs aren't gone; they're just functionless. They can't use them anymore because they've been pierced and damaged to the point where you can't utilize them in real life if that's what happened to you, and they'll just leave them out on the field.
Yeah, I've seen it. I've seen it myself.
Yep.
We're going to venture a little bit more into DAG here. Is there any style of, because when we meet up once a week, twice a week, when I was down in Champaign,
When we could,
5 days a week, geez, never doing that nonsense again. We have different battles that we'd like to run. Capture the flag. Bridge battles have never been one of my favorite, but I can understand them. Castle battles. My favorite to run was always, I called it bar fight.
Bar fight's fun.
Bar
fight's
fight
a really fun game.
Is everybody throws their weapon, it being bows and arrows, rocks, swords, big reds, whatever, and we bury them a big old pile, and we bury them with shields. So you don't exactly know what you're grabbing when you're grabbing that. You could pick up a shield, that's not a problem, but it was everybody going at it at once. It was like the beginning scene of the main, I hate to say Hunger Games, but when everybody was running to that pile of weapons, same concept. And I wouldn't recommend doing this at an event because there's just too many people with too much gear that they paid major money on, it being plastic dip, it being, $700 bow. Every arrow that they make is $150 of material, which that's not, $25. It depends. I'm not going to do the math for arrows because no one really cares. But yeah. But that was always my favorite one to run because you never knew what the person's going to grab, and it teaches them how to use other weapons they weren't used to using as their status quo. I don't know if there's a variation of this in the military. I hope not, because I picked up a rifle, I picked up a pistol, I picked up a knife. Well,
oh no, somebody brought the knife to the gunfight again. No, there's nothing specific like the bar fight for dagger here in the military. Basically, that just comes down to the classification of the weapons that you qualify on. I did M9 pistol, I did M203, which is the grenade launcher. I did Mark 19, which is a 30 millimeter grenade launcher machine gun.
Thunk.
Thunk 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 thunk, boom 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 boom. Yeah. It's a pretty devastating weapon. It's been around for a long, long time too, like since World War II, somewhere around there.
Every time somebody fires that gun, I've seen it in videos. I just want them to Duke Nukem. Oh yeah!
Oh no! Okay, all right. For anybody who doesn't know, that's also known as a crew served weapon because it takes a crew to accurately do that. Most of those weapons are either mounted on a tripod or onto a vehicle's turret, like on a Humvee or something. But all those crew served weapons, they get you a little bit of get some the entire time. Yeah, so you drop that butterfly and this stuff just starts shaking and you just have it's bad to say fun, but when you're just in a training environment and you're knocking down your targets and you're getting some good accurate shots in there, you're painting it good with the paint targets for the Mark 19 or the 50 cal, you're actually using live ammo to hit targets really far away, like over a mile away sometimes. But it's hard not to get sucked into that because you need to energize yourself in that environment for those weapons specifically, those crew serve weapons. Because if you are legitimately shooting that at the enemy, you need to get behind that gun so you can keep using it. And the best way to do that is get yourself amped, get yourself pumped. You start screaming, get some, take that, F you, die, like just all that kind of stuff that you see in movies. Like, unfortunately, yes, you have to fall into that position in order to operate those weapons consistently. You are supposed to be a destructive force when you're behind a crew serve weapon. You are supposed to be superior firepower. You are the biggest gun in your group and the one that'll most likely keep everybody alive.
Makes sense. That makes
So
sense.
you better get pumped. You better yell, get some. Your body's going to shake. You better stay accurate. And then just tear the enemy down so we can all go home. That's the concept. That's the concept, anyways. Or I should say a perceptive or perception-based concept. Like it's how I looked at it that helped me understand why I got this sudden urge. You know, you lay down on the butterfly on the 50 cal and it just starts going bop 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 bop. Your body is shaking, the cradle is shaking, the turret is shaking. You can feel the bumps of the Humvee as it goes over little areas of the unimproved road, and you're just sitting there engaging a target the whole time, listening to the tower going, "Good shot, lane 2, good shot, lane 3," like blah blah blah. Like, oh my gosh, this is so much fun. I'm having a blast, and they're calling this training. I could train like this every day. And they want you to feel that way. They really do, because that's the heart of a soldier. They really do. They want you to go out there foaming out the mouth like, throw grenades today, yay! You know, like just kink, shoot, bah. It's a scary environment. We are trained for a scary environment. However, it's training. We know accidents can happen, but as long as you follow the rules, everybody goes home, everybody goes to PT tomorrow, and then you go qual range after that. But you got to get behind it. There's heart and soul and conditioning and all that stuff. Without it, you're just spare parts. You're a bag of skin and a waste of bones. A poor excuse for a muscle man. I don't care how big you are. I don't care how strong you are. I don't care how fast you are. I don't care how smart you are. If you can't put your heart into your boots, so to speak, you need to go nowhere near any of that service. So this message goes out to all future soldiers, future Marines, future airmen, future sailors, future Coast Guards. I almost said Coast Guardians, and I was like, that doesn't sound right. But if you cannot get behind the boots that you are wearing, if you cannot stand in that formation, if you can't sing that cadence at the top of your voice, if you don't bring it, you're not worth it. Just because the military is offering you some benefits right now, you're trying to get some college. Hey, cool, that's cool. Go get some college, but you better bring it. Because even though you're there for college, doesn't mean that something's not going to happen in the world today, because our world sucks. There's always somebody pointing the finger. There's always somebody ready to push a button. There's always somebody ready to drop a boatload of Marines in some foreign soil on some other place just because they said their nose looked funny. Like, there is always a reason that people go to war, regardless of what it is. And if you're going to go in it, you better be in it to win it. Because if you don't, you're just going to die. Your mom's going to cry, and that'll be the end of it. That'll be the end of it. Your chapter will be very sad. Well, he was a good soldier. And then you got like that one sergeant like, no, he wasn't. No, he's a sack of human skin. That's it. Waste of air. He's an air thief. Yeah, nah. Give me the air back. Oh, he already did. Okay. No. I'm not saying that actually happens, but in the back of the mind, when a good soldier dies, people cry.
Right.
And not just the family, not just the friends, but the unit. You know, you got to be a good person. You got to have a great mentality. You got to work for it. You got to go after it. And you better have some morality. Because the places that you go, the people that you meet, the things that you will most likely have to do in those circumstances are going to take parts of you with it. So you better be a strong person, both mentally, physically. You better have some heart, that's some good character, some good morals, have some faith. I'm not saying like be a Christian or anything like that, but trust, respect, faith. These are all great things that help soldiers out there. If you need to pray, pray to who you need to. If it gets your head right and you can get back to the game, so to speak, then please, by all rights, do what you need to do. Take things seriously. It's not a joke. The service is not a TikTok meme. I think that's how they do it, right? That's how they make memes with TikTok. Is that what?
I don't know. I'm kind of old
TikTok?
school.
Facebook?
Yeah.
MySpace?
MySpace.
See, the last part was a joke. I know what TikTok is, and I know what social media is.
Yeah.
I'm just playing around.
So how would you feel
Do a
about
little soapbox rant.
how would you feel about watching some Dag here videos and do some quick reviews? We got
Sure.
about 20.
We can inject it.
We can
20 of them.
No, we don't have 20. I'm just looking at the time. We got
About
25
25 minutes before we start doing a wrap up. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's see if we can catch a few videos and make sure I have nothing inappropriate on my browser. That everybody's like, "What is he watching?" No,
just a little bit of glot. Oh
yeah,
man. You're watching that dirty stuff. I can't. What's with the bouncing around? I know what you're trying to do. You're trying to get the video to get in there.
All right.
So do you want me to do like a commentary, like drop the mic, use my voice a little bit more? Oh, come on. That'd be more fun that way. You just kill my fun here. It's just not letting you inject it right now.
Yeah.
Get your turkey baster.
Shit. I don't know. Yeah, it's not letting me do it.
That's weird. It could just be something about StreamYard. We never know. But hey, we plugged them. Hey, we plugged them in the video. Yay! $5 every time I say it. That's just if it would only work like that, that'd be great.
Yep, I don't know. Oh, here we go. It's never mind. I'm an idiot.
Oh, okay.
It
only took him a minute, folks. Don't worry about it.
You know, I don't get paid for this. Today was supposed to be my day. Today was my day off.
It's my day off too. Look what I'm doing.
All right.
Here we go. All right, good stuff. Wow. Screenception.
Right.
Hope everybody took their blue pill.
All right. Let's see. Which one should we start with? Let's go with Rag. No.
Yeah, let's show.
You want to Rag?
Something combat-y. Yeah, let's do something like that. Yeah, let's do something like that so people can see it. Because if they don't know, and we keep talking about the fights and stuff like that, the first thing we got to do is show them a fight. Let's show them a fight.
Well, this looks good because as a Roman, getting his face pushed in, we'll go with
that. That's good.
Hold on. All right. Let's turn off the volume because that can get me into trouble, I'm sure.
Oh my gosh, yeah, we got some elves and some orcs out there.
We got some Romans right here.
There's some Romans in there. Yeah, you get the helmets in there. See all these weapons. Most of these, see all these things in the top right-hand corner that you were seeing before. Those are the double-handed weapons, the two-handed weapons like glaives and spears and such and whatnot. These. Everybody is standing outside. Basically, the porticuffs this is the inside of the castle, right?
Castle, this is in Pennsylvania.
This is inside the castle on the field. We have a castle, folks. We have porticuffs and a gate and ramparts that you can get archers on top, and you can do flank fighting and pain trains and everything that you wanted. Oh my gosh, it's the greatest sport.
Oh, okay, okay. The gate.
Here we go. Look at that pain train coming in. That's a pain train.
Oh yeah,
y'all. Everybody stacks up with shields, and they just try to smash through that defensive line on the inside of the porticuff there, which is the opening for a castle wall. Porticuffs also being those giant steel lattice things that you see in movies and stuff. Oh, look at that! There's a Roman scotum. Oh, Rick just scotum right open. Oh, get him! That's right. Push him down. Push him down.
The Romans here. I mean, hold on. Let me pause it really quick. Let's see if I find a good one. No, that's not good. I'm trying to find a good place to pause for a second. No, it's moved. Okay. All right. So these are the helmets that we're talking about, right? These right here.
Yeah.
This one's made out of metal. Now you can get them out of leather or whatnot, and they will protect your head from most things. Looks like he's got a variation of chainmail with some stuff. This guy right here. Look at that shield. That's pretty. Yeah, we call that the taco
Scotum.
shield because it wraps around most
Yeah.
a good part of your body. He's got kidney
People like
belts
taco, yeah.
on, another helm, and look at the spear action. I mean, I haven't seen
Yeah.
this many spears since I went to a Britney Spears concert. That's horrible.
You went to one of those? Jeez,
No,
I didn't know you were like that. I gotta revalue my friendship with you now, bro. I don't know if I can accept that.
I would definitely rethink it. Let me fast forward to see if we get anything other than just the main push coming in. Let's fast forward. All right.
So
Now, what do we got here?
normally in these games, we can talk about that. Like get it rolling and then pause at a point that you think looks cool. But I'll just explain what this situational battle is about. See, the people on the inside, that you can see them, they're all roped around there in the front. They're trying to look for people. They're collecting weapons and spent javelins and arrows and stuff like that because the Pain Train failed. Pain Train is a large group of people, all covered in shields, like a giant box on legs, charging at the line to try to break it open so that they can split down the backfield and route the enemy around, swooping behind them and destroy the force. Generally, that's generally what this tactic's supposed to. Oh, they're running out.
You see this?
Yeah, that looks like an orc insignia.
That's Yurikai. I haven't seen them for a hot
That's
minute.
Uruk-hai shield. Yeah.
Yeah.
They are a very popular group. They all dress like orcs, and their parties suck.
I literally call
they don't suck. They're good dudes.
They're good people. I would
they're pretty good people.
What did I used to call their unit? Urine pie.
Oh yeah. We called them urine pies. There was a story. No, there's a story about that. It was about somebody who had to pee and like peed himself or something like that in front of a whole bunch of people. Yeah. And it was just okay. So there's a lot of smack talk in this sport. It's a physical sport. You know, you guys watch football, baseball, basketball, all that kind of stuff. These guys get a little heated and they talk some smack back and forth. That's all we're doing. It's the same thing, except we're doing it to be funny. Those professional athletes are doing it to be mean. Now, that's not to say that there's not some of us out there that say it to be mean to see if somebody can, provoke into violence. Not necessarily we want that to happen because we're already playing a violent sport, but yeah. But this game right here, the guys on the inside of the Portacuffs, so they're walking out of the castle now. Yeah. Yeah. So they're standing there.
My bad.
Yeah. There's these guys on the inside, they have limited lives. So they're supposed to defend from a highly superior force on the outside because that's how these battles normally were. If you were going to take a castle, this is historic. If you didn't bring a large military with you or the ability to choke off their supply routes and basically, weed them out through lack of food and water and resources and whatnot, then you had to break the gate. So the guys on the inside of the Portacuffs here or of the castle generally only have a couple of reses left, and then everybody on the outside, they don't have a limit. They do not have a limit. They can just keep coming and coming and coming and coming and coming, and it's a time game. It's a time game. So it's not like, oh, it goes until the outside wins. That's what it is because they have unlimited res spawns. Like no. It's a time game. Once the guys on the inside defend long enough, click, they win. So your objective is beating the clock. You're going out there to try to take the hour or the 2 hours or whatever, how long these fights take. Some of them have taken a long time.
Ooh.
Long time. And I know that was you got like a duel or something?
Yeah, wait, hold on.
Do some one-on-one speeding.
Yeah, let's do this one. This one looks
Here we go. All right. Good enough.
All right.
Here we go.
No, these are a tournament. These are big red tourneys.
Yep. Actually, those are min-maxes.
Also light reds too.
Yeah. They're minis. Yeah. Okay. What's that herald doing?
I have no idea.
I mean, seriously, it's like, who are these heralds? Like, watch this shot. Watch this come back in. Watch him do his over-under on it again. Nah.
Oh, go back?
Like that. No. Go back to the beginning of these guys swinging around their sticks. these guys like, well, yeah, watch this little group.
Yeah, that was a hip shot.
It was a hip shot. That means he's dead. He's dead.
He's like, no.
So, and he's walking around. He's like, no, just my garb. Like, see, that's a rhino hider, people. I was talking about it earlier. That's what that looks like. Or he probably gave him the arm instead of taking the kill, when he should have taken the death, as an honorable individual would have in this game, because it was clear that his arm came over the weapon and the weapon struck him at that hip section, which in real life could kill you if it were a real weapon, like a great sword or claymore or something like that. That could do some damage, because you're all organs from the hip up. So if that stuff glances around, it's just going to shred you out. And unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen who want to join this sport, there is a little bit of popularity contest that involves in our environment. That is one of the major stigmas that we have. And generally, that's because everybody just wants to be seen as the best fighter out there. It's not about being the best fighter. It's about being an effective one.
Guy right here in blue, he was straightforward. He's been good. He was honest. I was like, no, you got me right there.
Yeah.
Look at this garb, though.
It's good looking garb. It's great stuff. He's got the belt. He's got some emblems on there. Looked like he had some belt favors and stuff too.
That guy. I have no idea who this is, but I mean, garb. We use the term garb because it's just what we use, but it's basically
better to say clothing. Yeah.
Yeah, it is anywhere from.
Clothing.
You see people out there from anywhere from finding clothes from your local clothes shops that are period looking in nature, but are not that great looking. Then you get people like this who paid
Look
somebody.
Phenomenal.
Paid somebody, if he didn't do it himself, to go to a seamstress or a person who does it and makes it. I mean, this is quality garb here. And right there, that earns extra cool points in my opinion, because there should be more of that and less of Walmart special garb.
Yeah. Well, it's that stuff's expensive too. So, ladies and gentlemen that are listening and watching, and everybody in between, that stuff, the handmade stuff, it looks great. It always does, because it's handmade. It's fantastic, made by actual seamstresses. They go out there, they find the resources, they'll measure you, they'll ask you what you want, they'll show you a couple pictures for reference, and then they'll give you a final product. And in a lot of occasions, you're looking at about a couple $100s for just some basic garb. If it's like embroidered and a lot of insignias and stuff like that on there. But for base simple garb, if you're getting ready to get started with this sport, things that are acceptable. Find you a good pair of work boots that are above ankle, that like say combat boots or something of that style. Go get you some cotton pants. Sweat pants work because they're made of cotton. And then go get you an all cotton shirt and cut the collar and any seams out of it that seem manufactured, because they didn't have that process back then. A lot of the times it's just like saying, if I took this shirt here and just cut it at there and rolled up the sleeves a little bit, and then just had like this little tight shirt, and to be honest, it wouldn't be the tight, it'd be loose.
All right, we're gonna switch it up a little bit. Let's go back to field battles.
Hey, there's a good field battle. Look at that. Look at those people pressing on each other right there. See, they're setting up. You see that battlefield awareness, that the guy in the back that's in the center of the screen just a second ago. He walked around because he saw that there was no advantage for him where he saw it. Those guys. I think I recognize a couple of these people in this video.
Yeah, I have no idea where this is, but I know I've seen a few of these guys before over the years.
Yeah.
And
there's some awkward tactics. Yeah, see that? Okay, so you see this guy in the red headband here next to the guy in the green tunic.
Yeah.
They did the guy standing in front of him made them do exactly what he wanted to do, which was stop looking at him. So they use his buddy that's there to like hoot and holler, like do it, cause deception on the battlefield. Oh my gosh, it's one of my favorite things. My mentality behind Dagger here was always scare, scar, skill to kill. If you can scare your enemy, you can kill him. If you can scar him or wound him, you can kill him. And if you have better skill than him, then you better kill him. It's just there's so much stuff. It's like 80% of this sport is your mentality, the psychological effects and ramifications, because anybody can swing foam out there. It's all lightweight. You're looking at like 15 ounces for like a sword or something like that. I think that's what it is.
Right.
That's like less than a pound. That's less than a pound. You can swing that all day, even with limited training and exposure to the environment. You can do that all day.
Let's see. All day long. Let's see what we got going on. We have a spear right here. Mm-hmm. Spear. We have archery. This guy with his arrows.
He's got an arrow loose in that paw structure. That thing's already flying midair.
I'm just trying to see, if I could pinpoint some of the different weapons.
You see some shields, some daggers out there.
Yeah. Boom. And that guy had his shield up. Yeah. Nice shot, though. Good shot.
You see the people hitting the ground all the time. Ladies and gentlemen and everybody in between, you can shield check in this game. I just found out, like when we were playing, dude, I was told that you can't ridge. And ridge is taking the edge of your shield and smashing it into somebody. Right. Now you can. Now you can. Now you can. The one thing I always wanted to do in the sport, and now you can. You can't like impact them, but you can put the edge of your shield into them and push their body away. Now I'm like, oh, yes. Because one, you can drop your shield right in somebody's arm as they're coming down and their shot gets all flippy floppy and you're just like, you can't hit me now because pressure point. And if you do that fast enough, you can make their arm go all tingly. Like just poking in that spot made my fingers go a little tingly because there's a pressure point there. There's spots all over your bodies. Learn those. So you got a guy who's being a dick. There's a couple spots on the ribs. There's a couple spots on your leg. They just cause a shit ton of pain, and he'll stop being addicted to you. Mm-hmm.
We got this guy right here. Sometimes you got to spur the horse. Florentine. It looks like he has
dual wielding. He's got a speed bab
and a
sword.
Like. Yeah. What do you think of the speed babs? I've never exactly been a fan.
That was actually my first weapon. Was a speed bat, or speed mace, excuse me, because it was a mace. It had a large cylinder on the top, and then it had the handle and then the buffer area for
there goes
preventing injury of shots. Yep. Right. Oh yeah, no, I'm telling you guys, it's a great tactic. You just you have like a big teardrop shield or something on the front line, and you just carry a little bag that's attached to your shield. You put your sword in your shield hand, which is the one that's holding on to the clasp, and then you take your fighting hand and you hold a rock there and you make it look like you're standing there ready to brace the formation. Then the formation gets all nice and close, and the next thing you know, there's just a couple guys that are like dook 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 dook, just hitting dudes in the face with rocks. So
no, this very much
you got to die. You're dead now.
Yeah. Now this looks like just an average you find at the park field day. I mean,
this looks this does not look like an event. I mean, it could be. It could just be a local event.
It could be like 40, 50 plus people on the field, right?
Right. There could be like 3 or 4 groups out there that are like, hey, we all live near the same city. You guys want to do an event this weekend? We'll barbecue. Oh, he's lining up a shot. Choked it.
Yeah, it happens to the best of us.
I'm telling you, these fights are great. And this game is, you get in what you put out of it. The harder you work for it, the better you become at it. The better it will be. The more fun you will have. So you push as hard as you want in this sport. Nobody's going to push you to go any harder than you want. You don't have to be that op. Oh wow, that was a good javelin throw.
Yeah.
Did you see that? Oh man, that was a really good javelin throw.
Sports where you have 2 guys in the back doing commentary. If we can just get a couple drones out there with videos, cameras, and we can be sitting on the side. Look at that shot. That was amazing.
There's Sir McGillicuddy getting Lazy Jade for the 2nd time today.
There's your Lord of the Rings.
Oh yeah.
I'm actually
did you see the guy dressed up as Spider-Man once? I think you're around for that. The guy dressed up as Spider-Man. It was good. His medieval Spider-Man. It was great.
Is that Black Company? Rome. I saw the atypical shield with the white circle on it, so it makes me wonder.
With the white circle ring, the
Yeah,
brother's
see?
ring. Yeah,
Right there.
that's yep. Standing next to Romans.
You got.
You just see that. Let's look at all that pressure. Look at all of that stuff. The herald out there with the blowhorn telling people to stop and or keep going. I'm telling you all, like this looks like it might be too tough for a lot of people, but it's really not. It is really not. This is not like real life military where they want the best that they can possibly get at the time. This is an all-inclusive environment. We are all there to have fun. And that was a good shot. Oh, that's a savage strike.
No.
Yep. Yeah, that's how you take out he broke the line. Yeah, but that's how you take out a spearman. See these guys right here, that guy that just blew in and took down that spear that they're following around with the camera right now with the shimmer on his head. Those guys we call tryhards. You got them in every single sport or any type of game you play. You got guys who try real hard. You got to be okay with it. But this is supposed to be your life. If you're alive on the field, you're alive on the field. If you don't want to die, don't die on the field. Get good. Try hard.
I'm actually kind of looking for Finn, to be honest. It's Rag. Where's Finn?
I know. You can definitely see him. He's very clear. I don't know if he said he was going to do a lot of field battles this year, though.
Oh, this was a couple years ago. This was 33. So that's like three years ago? Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. So this is
these two guys that was clean.
They're pretty good. They're pretty good.
That's the one thing. It's not a rag unless it's storming 2/3 of the event.
Exactly. If you're not walking around in mud, something's wrong.
Yeah.
You need to check the weather.
That looks like Finn's truck. I mean, I could be wrong.
It wouldn't surprise me at all. And now, COVID has ruined this game. By the way, I'm gonna say that out loud. It has ruined this game.
It just needs a couple. Give it probably another. Actually, Armageddon was this past week, and they had big numbers.
Okay, well that's cool. I'm glad because like when that year came out, y'all, that's one of the years that I was thinking about because I've been out of the game for a couple of years. I was thinking about coming back because I missed it. It's fun. It's good exercise. It's exhilarating. You meet a lot of people. You make a lot of friends. You really do. And I was going to come back, and then COVID happened, and they're like, no, we can't do shit anymore. Everybody's got to wear masks. They wouldn't let you anywhere near anybody if you didn't have a vaccine or something like that. And it caused a lot of problems. And I understand public safety and public health and all that kind of stuff. But if restaurants took a hit, Dagger here took a bigger hit.
Oh yeah,
than the restaurant did.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is, as you can see, everybody's grouped together. This is warfare. You have a shield wall. You have spears of all shapes and sizes directed in front of the shield wall to disrupt oncoming enemies. Like this whole thing is about being in everybody's bubble. There's no such thing as
there's no 6 feet in this rule. There's
none. And if you make a gap you make a gap that big, and you deserve to let your unit get wiped on the field like that.
Right.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
That guy.
See, look at that. See, look at it. Whoa.
Even if somebody, that's the other thing about the sport, though. Even if somebody takes a bad fall, there's like 3 or 4 guys right there, even if they're not in the same squad, saying, "Hey, are you okay? Hey, can I help you out?" I mean, it's not a bunch of people being asshats about it. I mean, yeah, they do.
We have medics on the field, like trained EMTs. Trained EMTs will love this sport. Why? Because they get to watch a bunch of nerds beat them up, and then they're like, yeah, and then I get to feel validated with my ability to, set a couple stitches and put some tampons in somebody's nose, and they got busted in the face by a javelin.
I'm playing that game that you do if you. Wait! Oh, whoa! There's
I was about to say. I was like, I think that was the dude we were looking for. This is a gentleman of ours that we are pretty good friends with. We all like him. He's like that big brother dad in the unit. Let's make sure that was him, because I thought it was him too.
I see. Nope, that's him. That's him. Hold on. Ladies and gentlemen,
There's,
that is a fin spotting.
there it is.
Yeah.
Hey, Wild Finn, he is the man with the beard, not the guy in the red shirt.
Right.
That gentleman absolutely loves this sport. He's a big nerd, big avid keeper of nerd culture and whatnot. Been around for all that kind of stuff. He's a great, wonderful gentleman. He'll teach you some stuff. He'll show you how to wax harden your leather and make some stuff look pretty. And he's just a cool dude all around. Got a lot of great influence. A lot of people respect him in the sport. So if you ever meet this guy and you just tell him that just should we we'll plug him later. We'll get him in on a show. How about that? We'll actually get Finn in on a show.
We'll have to do it.
That would be a little bit better.
Absolutely. Yeah, we'll have to do a Slight Dag show, or at least a sports show. But look at this right here. Look at that beautiful tunic. Not tunic, fork.
Yeah.
Right there. That looks like a crafty kilt. If you don't know what crafty kilt is, it is a merchant who makes these kinds of jewelry. Hold on. He comes with forks, bracelets, and other stuff. But you remember the show Vikings?
Yes.
He did all the jewelry for that show. Yep.
It's very cool.
Yeah, no, I can't show Rag without seeing if I could do a random fin spotting. It's with that, and I'm counting how many units I know and people I know from this. But I've been in the sport for the past 15 years. Yes, there's a lot of people in this sport, and there's new people joining all the time.
Yeah, but all the time. And by the way, you saw that gentleman with the white beard. That's Finn that we're talking about. Just so you punks know, he walk you up and down. He is so good at this sport, it's not even funny. I used to think I was a good fighter till I squared off against him my first time meeting him at a Ragnarok, which was I think that was my second Ragnarok.
All right.
I can't remember that, but I went one-on-one with him, and he was schooling me left and right. And that's, like I said, youth and idealism versus age and experience, or age and wisdom. And he was kicking my butt left and right. He was making me fall for some of the basic baits and switches, and I was so mad at myself for falling for his old man tricks, because that's what we call them. They're old man tricks. Dirty old man tricks. He is loaded with those dirty old man tricks, and he is not a soft target at all. He is a very hard target. And I guess it depends on how much he drank before. Hey.
Against the rules, it's called Turp. I've never heard of that one before. I'm not saying it's not, have you heard of that one before?
I think that's one of those rules that depends on the condition of the terrain. So it is there, but then it's not. Like, there's no turtling in an area where there's like some open rocks and loose pieces of lumber or branches around.
Because if you take the knee shot, you're supposed to go down to your knees.
Supposed to go down to your knee, but you're supposed to keep your good knee up.
Right.
You're supposed to keep the good leg up, because there is also that rule: if both your knees hit the ground, then you're on the ground. You're down, because you can't use your other leg to stand back up, because it doesn't work, because it's broken, / cut off, whatever. It doesn't work anymore. You can't utilize it as a leg. So once that second knee hits the ground, you're down. And there's even a rule too, that even if you didn't take a leg shot and you put your knee on the ground, you put your knee on the ground and you stay down.
Right.
That's to prevent people from doing what do you want, dog? Stop. That's that's to prevent people from doing stupid things and taking for free shots. Turtling,
I'm not saying that's not a thing. I've just never heard that rule before.
I'm not going to say I've read the entire rule book, the war book. It is massive. It's like a 3-inch binder.
Yeah.
Full of pages. It is a big thing. There are safety constraints, how to construct garb. This is how you run a game. These are our rules and regs. This is the hierarchy structure. Like, there are so many things inside that book, and it is one of the driest books I've ever read. And I've read military field manuals, and I've read some Army field manuals. Oh, you want to talk about some technically dry stuff? That is definitely it.
Well, we're wrapping up. We got 6 minutes left, so I just I want to thank you. Thank you for doing this with me.
Absolutely.
At least getting this platform, this topic going on. I hope this will be one of many videos we'll do together. It might not be on this subject, talking about RPG with the vets. It might just be we could do a DAG here or whatever channel, whatever. We'll figure that out.
I'm down to clown. I can clown all day long.
But I just want to say thank you for doing this with me. Thank you for your service. Yeah. Talking DAG here, as I say shop. I say shop to a lot of things.
That's some shop talk. Yeah,
that's some shop talk. And the fact that you're able to, it being another tool that you have in your toolbox of
Nerdbox?
Not Nerdbox. We're not talking about Amber here. I shouldn't say stuff like that.
I was going to say, watch it. They're already going after Tug and the Yellow Flashes, so you got to watch out, bro. That's all you did. You haven't even started yet, and now it's just going to be like, no more subscribers.
Well, you can't make the rock bleed, so whatever.
There you go. Try as you might.
Can't get blood from a turnip. That was always one of my grandpa's favorite sayings.
Right. I mean, if you hit somebody in the head with a turnip hard enough, you can make some blood happen.
Yes. But between your time in the service and the gaming, it being RPG and DAG here, have you found that you can, from your time in the service till now, that you've been able to find a community of peers or other vets that the transition? Yes, thank you. Transitioning has been reasonable and has worked for you. Have you been able to build the tools to make it work for your day-to-day life now?
Absolutely. Like I said before, this is an all-inclusive sport. Everybody's there to have fun in the first place. You're going to meet a lot of people. You're going to meet a lot of weirdos, and I mean that. And weirdos is an affectionate term for us nerds, by the way. You're going to meet a lot of weirdos. You're going to meet people you don't agree with. But the best thing about that is that you get to fight everybody. Doesn't matter who you do. You like them, you hate them, you meet them on the field.
Well,
you go swing some foam, you have some fun, you get the stuff off your chest. There's camaraderie, there's camping, there's unit organization. No person goes hungry at a Dagger Here event, even if they didn't bring any food.
That is very true.
We won't let you go hungry. We won't let you go thirsty. If you got a boo-boo, we'll put a Band-Aid on it for you too. Straight up, it is a wonderful environment. Do not downplay it. Yes, it's aggressive. Yes, it's a little violent, but it's safer than actually killing people with swords. If you can imagine.
Right. So that being said, I just want to say, and I've thanked you now for the third time. As soon as you get your own channel, if you decide to go that route, let me know, and I will plug your channel as much as I can, as often as I can. And everybody who ends up watching this later, the guy already has one kid who is my nephew. Him and his soon-to-be wife are about ready to have a second child, so Mazel Tov there. Right. I can't wait to be an uncle again. So I hope the best for you and your family. You'll see. I promise you guys, you'll see more of this guy, even if he's just hanging out with my fat ass.
That's right.
Everybody who's watching this, I hope that you have a good night. Happy 4th of July weekend. You will see
go blow something up.
Just not your pecker. Don't blow up your pecker with a firework. No one wants that.
Ouch.
You'll see me tomorrow with Shadow and Sun. We will be talking about the second novel of the Dresden Files, Fool's Moon, and how we could use that novel as a storyline for RPGing. I ran a Dresden Files campaign. It was fun. I think my players had fun in it. There's my nephew. So with that being said, I'm going to say everybody have a good evening. Remember to roll your dice in the dark and do your character sheet with the Quran. preferably red because they taste better.
They're the best tasting crayons ever.
Bye, guys.
Thanks, dude. See ya.